Good morning, everyone. We are giving this another shot here. Something is just funny with Instagram this morning. Thanks for your patience with us here as we try to figure this out. All right, I see you in here. Good
Is
morning.
this actually working?
Are we in?
I think so. I'm just not gonna
Okay.
move. I'm not gonna move.
Whew, that took a little bit to get going there. Okay, well, I'm glad this
Just gonna sit
works.
still.
Um, I'm glad this worked, right? We've talked a
Mm,
little bit about wanting to get on here and just give some
mhm.
practical solutions. Sleep is such a huge issue for so many people, especially heading into the holidays. I'm sure your practice is full of insomnia concerns, anxiety concerns, sleep
Mhm.
issues. So
Anxiety's huge. Yeah, yeah. Do you want me to build off
if
of that? Or
sure, yeah,
yeah,
please.
yeah. Like anxiety's huge. I mean, you know this as well, right? Anxiety is listed as the main mental health concern, right, in Canada and the United States, and
Mm,
anxiety not only impacts physical, as you see in your practice, but it impacts mental, emotional, and spiritual. And so, how can we work within everything that impacts us and acknowledge it, but also work with it,
yeah,
and so that we can have the best sleep possible.
yeah, absolutely. I was talking with someone the other day, and we're struggling to get her progesterone levels up.
Mm,
She's mid 40s, and her progesterone is so low. And right, we've got her on all the supplements, we've got her on some hormones. But the truth is, when stress is really high,
hmm
your body makes progesterone, but then your cortisol steals it because you need cortisol to manage all the anxiety from day to
hmm
day.
hmm
So, right, when one part of the body isn't working right, it affects everything else.
hmm hmm
So maybe
Absolutely,
we could
right?
maybe we could break down a little bit like a few specific areas here, what they mean, what they're telling
hmm
people,
hmm
and kind of how we can come at it from a functional perspective and a mental health perspective.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So one of the big things I see when it comes to sleep is cortisol issues.
hmm
Right? Cortisol being your stress hormone. It's a good hormone. You need it.
hmm
It's what wakes you up in the morning. It's what keeps you functioning when you're stressed.
hmm
But in the evening, cortisol should decrease, right? And that's where we get that sleepy, relaxed feeling where you can crawl in bed and fall asleep.
hmm hmm
But what I see a lot of when I run cortisol panels or adrenal panels is I see people's cortisol high at night.
hmm
So they're sleepy around 4 or 5 p.m. And then it's like they get a second wind,
hmm
right? You're trying to wind down
hmm
for bed, and all of a sudden you're awake again. Your body's not
hmm
energetic, but you're awake. You could organize something, you could think through
Right.
something, and
Yeah,
then it takes
yeah,
forever to fall asleep.
yeah, yeah.
And then in the morning, you can't get out of bed.
Because we're up all night thinking about all these things. You mentioned a second wind. Sometimes we get a
Yeah,
third wind.
yeah,
We're thinking of what we forgot to do or what we need to do, which is that's great in and of itself. That helps us stay organized, and which
yeah,
is why I tell my clients, right, have a journal on your bedside. Pardon me, have a notepad. Just jot it
yeah,
down because then as soon as it's out of your mind, it's you can deal with it in the morning.
yeah,
And I mean, we're on another note with the being awakened, right? We're all guilty of our watching and binging our favorite show. Like we, I have them, but like we have to not be watching them at 9, 10 o'clock at night, because then, there's that escalation, right? Okay, what's going to happen in the next episode? And oh, that character did that. And so of course then you're thinking about it. And that's again, which is where something that is mental affects physical with the cortisol, because it's like, okay, well now I'm awake.
And
Right?
it comes off as innocent. No one means to do
Yes.
it,
No, not at
right?
all.
But when we're already struggling with busy days where our brain's going in a
Mm-hmm.
million different directions,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's no
Mm-hmm.
wonder, right, when we've got some of those routines at night, that then it's a
Mm-hmm.
struggle for the cortisol hormone to
Mm-hmm.
relax again, to let the body sleep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so what I've told individuals that I've worked with is that acknowledge this thought. Like I love mindfulness. I'm a huge mindfulness advocate, as my students and as my clients know. In fact, it was one of my favorite classes in my undergrad. And mindfulness is all about that acknowledgement. Okay, yeah, I see you, negative or intrusive or limited thought, right? These are all key things that keep us up at night. So we're not pushing it away. We're not ignoring it. We are acknowledging it. We're saying, okay, yeah, I see you. And I acknowledge something's going on, but now I'm choosing to go, well, what's over here? I need sleep. So I'm gonna write this down, or
Yeah.
maybe there's something you can in the moment deal with it, right? Whether it's a meditation, a prayer, a journal entry. Again, this is where all of our quadrants, if you will, of our being come into play, right? Mentally, get rid of that thought by writing it down.
Yeah.
Spiritually, pray, meditate, whatever works for you. And then, or just quickly take a stroll down your hallway just to get that physicality out of your system. There's so many small, simple things that we tend to overlook that can actually be
Yeah.
of great power.
Yeah. One of the things that I do a lot of is the amino acid L-theanine in the
Mm,
evenings.
yes.
L-theanine is calming, it's relaxing, it promotes more
Hmm.
GABA in the brain, right?
Yeah.
And GABA relaxes the brain and the body. So
Hmm.
sometimes when I find someone that's got a lot of thoughts coming at them in the evening, L-theanine can be really nice for kind of
Hmm.
calming those thoughts or taking the edge
Hmm.
off.
Hmm. Hmm.
Healing up, right? When people are feeling like they've got a full-on adrenaline rush or second wind in the evening,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll often use phosphatidylserine because
Okay.
it stops that adrenaline rush.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it blunts the adrenaline, it blunts the cortisol, and it often gives a person that sleepy feel. That's not putting
Hmm.
you to sleep. It's literally
No.
just your
No.
body calming back down. So sometimes those are tools that I'll use in the evening, right, to
Yeah.
promote more sleep, easier
Yeah.
sleep, right, to stop some of that second wind. But
Hmm.
but going back and, like you said, and finding the cause of that, right,
Hmm.
and getting
Hmm.
other habits in place,
Hmm. Hmm.
is really the game changer long term.
Totally, right? And the vitamins and the tools you're using, right? They're to help us. And I know I speak to clients about it, which I really appreciated the partnership that we've started in our businesses, where, I get a lot of questions, I get a lot of curiosities, sometimes even hesitations, because I don't have a medical background. I know some things, but they're like, okay, I don't want to take pills and I don't do this. I was like, right, but there are things that can help,
Yeah.
right? There are things that aren't going to hinder or halt in a negative way.
Hmm.
And that's part of helping ourselves, right?
Yeah.
There's medication, vitamins, when used in the correct way, are beneficial, right?
Sleep's
We're
very
not
important.
abusing them, right? And that's the thing. I mean, hello, we're both parents. And I'm sure any parents who are watching can attest, like, sleep patterns particularly get disrupted with children. And I mean, I don't know when I'm going to sleep properly again, but it's just part of life, right? Like, but there's ways we can deal with it,
Yeah.
right? There's ways we've been able to handle it in our home, like some of the vitamins you've mentioned, we have in our cupboard. There,
Hmm.
we involve ourselves in different exercises. We have a bedtime routine, and that's going to look different for everyone, right? What
Yeah.
works for one person is not going to work for the other. And so I know in my practice, and I would think with you as well, right? There's trial and error, right? If something
Yeah.
doesn't work, let's try something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's an ideal wind down
Mm,
routine
yeah, yeah.
from a perspective of someone dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of thoughts, a
Mm,
huge to-do list? What's
mm-hmm.
your ideal wind down routine for them?
Yeah, no, good question. I try to relax as I don't want to say as early as possible, but that's the only term that's coming to my mind. But right at dinner time, start having those conversations, start having those routines in place. Okay, well, this is what we're going to do. So, I mean, to use myself as an example, right? We've let our girls know they're 6 and 7.5. After dinner time, we'll have some playtime. We might watch an episode of one of our favorite shows as a family, right? Because that's when we're all together at the day. So I am not saying not to have TV at the end of the day, but have it in moderation, right? Because especially if you work during the day and that's your time together, great. Do what works for you. And so for us, we're currently watching Christmas night fight. So it's a competition in the neighborhood where they decorate their neighbors, their houses, right? So that's what we've started to do, especially with the season that we're in. And
Mhm.
then we start doing brushing teeth, getting pajamas on, having a bedtime story so that we're relaxing our bodies
Mhm.
and we're removing ourselves from like that excitement that we just watched that on that episode. And
Mhm.
then we're winding down. If there is a need, right, then there's some vitamins that are involved to just naturally assist.
Mhm.
And and if for adults, right, if you need to take a moment and journal and jot down because
Yeah.
uh, there's you at the end of the day, as you mentioned, right, we usually have those thoughts of, okay, what did I not get done? Or okay, I
Mhm.
need to get this done for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm just as guilty, right? Like, okay, we get caught up in a moment, we forget to do things. So I'm trying
Mhm.
to I mean, if you saw my desk right now, there's sticky notes. They're organized sticky notes, but there's sticky notes on what needs to get done and how to get it done.
Yeah.
So whatever system works for you, and as so that you can relax as the day unwinds, and that you're not getting anxious, that you're not getting worked up
Yeah.
and heightened, and you're doing what you can for yourself.
I like that. Start early.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in such a society right now where it's stay up late, hustle in the
Right.
evenings to get things
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
But the truth is, after supper, right, the sooner that you can start to get those wind down
Mm-hmm.
routines in place, it's so smart. I mean, that even goes with adrenal patterns, right? Your body's
Mm-hmm.
best, most restorative sleep is going to be between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're still in hustle and grind mode at 9:30, if you're still binge watching a murder mystery at 10 p.m.,
Right.
you're gonna lose that 4 hour gap where
Yeah,
your body
yeah.
detoxes and regenerates, right? Your
Mhm.
lymphatic system flushes toxin from the brain and where
Mhm.
your
Mhm.
adrenals heal the best. So if
Mhm.
you are
Mhm.
dealing with any kind of adrenal issue, hormonal issue,
Yeah.
you actually need to be heading to bed by 9:30ish.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it makes sense, right? Do your high fun, high excitement activities early. I
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, and I know you had mentioned something and it triggered that we also play music. Like there, I
Okay.
know my wife has found this really neat playlist where it's just sounds,
Okay.
and right, our girls love it. She loves it. It puts them it puts them out.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. And so if that works for you, right, find a system that works for you. It's going to be different for everyone.
Can
And so if
you,
there is trial and error, yeah, sorry.
sorry to interrupt, can you leave that in the notes? So if someone
Yeah,
wants to go
yeah,
look for that music, they could find
yeah,
that?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
because it's that zen's not the right word, but there is that there's something about just that instrumental um that it almost speaks to the body, right? Like it's there's something that it plays with the mind and the body that commands in a way, right? I'm
Mhm.
making it sound like this mystical thing, and it's not, but it's natural, right? And I will definitely provide the link and get that included. But If that doesn't work for you, find something. There's plenty of playlists out there.
Hmm. I've
Hmm.
heard that a lot. I don't know a lot about that,
Hmm.
but my understanding is that it connects different parts of the brain to promote
Yes,
relaxation.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't work for me, right? I'm a guy, I need quiet, right? I do best in quiet, right? So
Mhm.
I, again, this is a prime example of what works for one doesn't work for the other.
Yeah.
And so she puts it low enough so that it doesn't impact me.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm still able to sleep well as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. That's
Hmm.
awesome.
Hmm.
So the
Yeah.
combination here of right, if you're suspecting an issue with sleep, right, there is
Hmm.
adrenal testing, right? We can measure
Hmm.
your cortisol in the evening, during the
Hmm.
day, at
Hmm.
night. There are
Hmm.
supplements that are helpful. But then getting those lasting results really comes down to brainstorming, right?
Hmm.
Routines in the evening, what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, the combination of the
And
two.
And that's exactly it, right? It takes work. We're
Yeah.
not necessarily going to find a solution overnight. And you had mentioned earlier, and a big part of my role, and yours as well, with the physical, is getting to the root of it, what we
Yeah.
call trauma informed care in mental health, right? Is there
Yeah.
something that you haven't dealt with or worked through that is starting to creep in and naturally remind you, hey, I'm still here. You need to deal with me. And
Yeah.
so this is where I can come into play, where you can come into play, and is there something that we can work through together? Because it's so important. And I tell people all the time, like all of us, we need to speak to someone. And
Yeah.
that's not to say that selfishly as a counselor to like tell people to come see me,
No.
but as a counselor, I speak to a counselor, right? Like
Yeah.
we all need that safe space to speak to someone,
Yeah.
to debrief, to unwind, like, hey, is this working? Can you help me with this? And take advantage of those individuals that are out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It's
Hmm.
so true.
Hmm.
The speed that we live at, our bodies are
Hmm.
not keeping up with anymore. And I see it
Right.
in every cortisol panel I run, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
see people that have got great cortisol stores or making it well through the day. I see
Hmm.
reverse patterns all the time. I'm seeing cortisol spiking at 2 a.m. So people
Hmm.
are waking up with a racing heart and sweating at 2 a.m., right?
Hmm.
That's not normal. That's not okay, right? I'm seeing
No,
people that
no.
can't get out of bed in the morning, right?
Hmm.
They've got everything in the world to look forward to, um, but they can't get out of bed because their cortisol is so low because it's
Hmm.
spiked at night. So
Hmm.
the patterns
Hmm.
are just wonky and backwards.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
I love what you just said, actually. Like, right, this world, the society that we live in it's evolving in such a way that doesn't acknowledge our humanity.
Yeah.
It expects us to be robots. It expects us to be on all the time. And we weren't made for that, right? We weren't
Mhm.
designed for that. We were designed for rest. We were designed for sleep. We were designed to
Yeah.
unwind at the end of the day and have a good night's sleep so we can be functional. And
Totally.
I know when you reached out to have me join your practice, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
because we need the physicality, but we need the mental. And we unfortunately still live in a society, specifically with men, where they're all like, well, I don't need to talk to anyone. But you do. And that's okay.
Mhm.
Because we can't always just dump everything on our husbands or wives and our children. That's not fair.
Yeah.
We need that space.
Yeah.
And we need to be the best versions of who we've been created to be
Yeah.
so that we can fulfill what we've been called to do. And that
Absolutely.
includes having a good sleep.
Yes. Yes. But there's so much more that we wanted to dig
Mm,
into here. We wanted
hmm.
to talk about a whole bunch of other things. We just
Yes.
couldn't get connected real
I
well.
have no idea what was going on.
So I think we're going to have to pause here because I
Mm-hmm.
actually
Mm-hmm.
start seeing patients in a few
Yes,
minutes.
yes.
But I do want to come back to this. I do want to come back to the
Let's.
progesterone link to sleep.
Yes,
I want to come
yes,
back to blood sugar and histamine.
yes.
What was really wild, I was reading an article not that long ago about how your thoughts can actually trigger the release of histamine in the body, which
Interesting.
raises blood sugar, which raises cortisol, which literally adds on pounds to a
Well, that
person.
makes sense, which I know we have to go, but like to keep the lingering for people who are watching to join us the next time is that right? That's all then connected back to intrusive thoughts and limited mindset and what we call racing thoughts. Like we, and then mindfulness can come into play and how many of these threats and thoughts that come into our mind, they're not real. And we have to remind these thoughts that they're not real, right?
Yeah,
They're perceived, they're imaginary, and
actually.
they're playing with our mind, which in turn plays with our body, as you just
Yeah,
mentioned. Yeah.
definitely. So we will get to all these points.
Yes, we
We'll
will. We
we'll we'll
will.
put some we'll put notes up for when we'll address the next
Absolutely.
set.
Yes.
But if you've got questions about what we talked about today, right, evening wind down time, cortisol
Mm-hmm.
testing,
Mm-hmm.
supplements, right, sitting down with someone, right, that to go through, right, what could
Mm-hmm.
possibly be stopping me from unwinding or falling asleep, please reach out to us.
Yes. Yes.
Right, you can message me on my page here. I'll pass anything on to Matt. But I think your page is listed here too, so and you can
Yes.
reach out
Yep.
directly as well. Because we didn't really get to a Q&A, but ask away. We'll
Yes.
close the
Yes.
feed, but we'll be looking for messages if there's anything you need.
Sounds good. And
Okay.
we'll connect soon and get to
Yes.
all everything we've mentioned at the end.
Yes. Okay, guys, have a great day
All right.
today.
Take care.
Thanks for coming. Bye.